What is up, everyone? It's Dom here from JoJo Productions, and today we're going to compare a couple of megapixel monsters. Let's get into this thing. I'm going to break this video into two different parts. The first part, we're just going to be looking at the ergonomics, the screen, how it feels in the hand, all that kind of stuff. The second video we're going to do is we're actually going to dive into the image quality between these two, because believe it or not, both of these cameras are pretty similar when it comes to image quality. They each have their strengths, and we will take a look at that in the second video. So the first thing that you're going to notice when you pick up the camera is how it feels. Now, personally, I like the Nikon D850. It has a bigger grip for my bigger hands, which I really, really appreciate, because when I'm holding the camera all day for like a wedding, it's nice to have a grip that isn't going to fatigue your hand after 3 or 4 hours. Whereas the Canon 5DSR here, yes, it does feel good in the hands, but it definitely does not feel as good as the D850. It doesn't have that deep grip. It doesn't just fit like a glove like the D850 does. All right, now let's get into the screens. The screens on both of these cameras are just fine. Again, I do like the D850's screen more. It's tiltable and it's a touch screen and has a lot of function, which is really great, especially when you are moving fast. The touch screen is so nice to have. You can just pinch and zoom, or if you need to swipe to the next image, you can do that. Whereas with the Canon 5DSR, it's a little slower. You have to push the magnify button, and then you can kind of use the joystick to look around the image and stuff like that. So the 5DSR, it's just older technology, but it's still fantastic. Let's get into the buttons. The buttons on the camera, again, I think I'm going to have to give it to the D850. The buttons just have such a nice, responsive feel. Some of them even kind of have like a click to it, which is really great because it lets you know that you actually pushed the button. The 5DSR is kind of stuck where the 5D Mark III was at. It has kind of squishier, spongier buttons, which is okay, but for the most part, I don't like it. I like having that assertive click that lets me know that I actually pushed the button. Now, the one thing that I'll give to the 5DSR is, of course, that kind of spinning, rotating dial on the back. I really do like that. You can scroll through images super fast, whereas the D850, it still has that D-pad, and it's really annoying. But like I said, the screen on it is really nice, and you can navigate through images really quick with the touchscreen of the D850. Now let's talk about viewfinder. I think the viewfinders between these two are pretty much the same. They're both really good. The 5DSR's viewfinder kind of sticks out from the body, and it kind of like gouges into your eye, which can be nice sometimes when I really want to block out sun. But for the most part, I don't really like it because I wear glasses and it kind of smudges the screen, and it's kind of a pain at times. Whereas the D850's eyepiece is more flat and flush to the body, which again, I really like that. So I'm not, straining my eyes and smudging my glasses and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I think they're both perfectly fine. I really like both of them. SD cards. Let's get into SD cards. Now, these both have dual SD cards, which is great. And now they're technically not SD cards, but they're memory slots, dual memory slots. So the Canon 5DSR has a standard SD card, and it has an older CF card. And the D850 has a SD card, standard SD card, and a CF Express card. The CF Express card is really nice for unloading those images a little faster. And it also shoots 4K, which we're going to get into the second part of the video. Also shoots like 120 frames per second in 1080p. Again, that's all for the second video, but it's nice having that bigger card so that you can offload that media faster, and so it doesn't kind of slow down the whole process. Now let's get into the ports of the camera. The D850, I think, is a little better. I mean, they're pretty much the same, but the D850 has one thing that's really nice compared to the Canon 5DSR. So the D850 has a headphone jack and a mic jack. The headphone jack is what really kills the 5DSR here. When you're doing video, it is always a must to be able to monitor your audio, or else you don't know what's going to happen. You might get wind, you might get a dropout, a little pop. So having a headphone jack is super nice to be able to monitor your audio when recording video. The D850 is a really great video camera. So it's really nice that it has the headphone jack. Now, the 5DSR doesn't really care about video. It does have a mic port and an HDMI port like the D850 does, but doesn't have a headphone jack, which really is a statement saying, don't worry about this camera for video. Okay, let's talk about the mode dials. I personally really like the mode dial of the 5DSR. It's really simple. It's fine. You can see it on top of the camera. Whereas if you go to the D850, you have to hit the mode button, then kind of scroll through whatever mode you want to get to. It's a little extra step. I think the 5DSR, in this case, the basicness of it is a little better. That's just my opinion. On and off buttons. I'm going to have to give it to the Nikon camera here again because it's just right at the fingertip, which I really like if you are in a rush to turn it on or turn it off, whatever. Whereas the Canons, it's on the opposite side of the shutter button here. It's fine. I've gotten used to it. I really don't care. But I do have to say that the Nikon's on-off switch right on the shutter button is a really nice thing. I do kind of miss that about the Nikon system. So I'm definitely going to have to give it to the D850. Next up, Wi-Fi and wireless connectivity. D850, once again, really just whoops the 5DSR in this case. The D850 does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so that is really, really nice. I don't really ever use the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth or anything like that because I have no need for it. I don't need it. It's fine. The 5DSR doesn't have it. Again, I really don't care. But I guess if you really do need that kind of a thing, the D850 is going to win that area. Next, let's talk about battery life. I'd say both of them do pretty okay. D850 again wins for battery. It just has a better, longer lasting battery. Now, the 5DSR does more than fine. It's going to get you through a day of shooting. You might need 2 batteries, but you should be okay for a day of shooting. Whereas the D850, you can shoot for a couple days and you will not run out of battery. Like, the battery on this thing really is incredible. Now let's talk about lenses. In this case, I think it's a tie. Whatever brand you go for, in this case, Nikon or Canon, it doesn't matter. You're going to get great lenses from both of these companies. I do think that Canon has a better lineup of lenses. They have a little bit more specialty lenses. They have like the 85-1.2. Now, I do know that Nikon did come out with their 85-1.2 for the Z system, but that's not a DSLR. It's their mirrorless system. So I think that Canon just has the better lens selection. It doesn't matter which brand you go with. You're going to get great lenses from both brands. So whatever you want to. And finally, last but not least, let's talk about resolution. Technically speaking, the 5DSR is the winner here because it has 50 megapixels compared to the D850's 45. Now, I do want to say that the 45 megapixels from the D850 are definitely no slouch at all. I mean, the files that come out of this are very, very detailed. And if you compare these two, the image quality really it's the same. And we're going to get into that into the second video. But I do want to say that both of these cameras' image quality really are next to none. They are some of the best out there for a DSLR. So again, it doesn't matter which one you choose. You're going to get great images from both of these. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below as well. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.